This is honestly my first time getting this raw and real and uncut about this part of my story. So, without further ado, welcome to my new series, Diaries of a Former Virgin. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to bring you guys this new series. If you're new on here, welcome. We get really real in this community and we talk about things that matter, and I'm super excited to share this new series that God kind of dropped in my spirit when I was sitting with him trying to figure out, okay, what do my subscribers want? What should I bring to them? And he dropped the title Diaries of a Former Virgin. I was like, Lord, we're going there? I guess we're going there. And so for those of you who don't know, I was a virgin for 25 years, and I feel like the Lord has taught me a lot in those 25 years. So anyways, I'm blabbering on, but if you want to get into my testimony and to figure out how I got to where I am today, then just keep watching. I don't know why am I nervous, guys? I feel like I've literally made videos about this, like shorter videos about like snips and pieces of my testimony, but I don't know why I feel so nervous. I'm just being real. I feel a little nervous. But anyways, okay. It's like, where do you start when you're trying to give your testimony and encourage people? Okay, this is where I'm gonna start. So, quick little snippet about me. I grew up in the church and became a Christian when I was 6 years old. By the grace of God, I feel like that's one of the biggest graces in my life, just because to know Christ is to have the most abundant life. And so I'm really, really grateful that early on my parents instilled that into me. And yeah, I grew up and, you know, like every other little girl, going to church, having my friends, doing my thing. And like most people, I had some traumas that happened in my childhood that kind of made me grow up a little bit quicker than I had anticipated. And I decided to start my journey, or declare publicly, not like to a big group of people, but just to my parents, that I wanted to stay a virgin, practice celibacy until I was married when I was around like 13 or 14 years old. I feel like that was, looking back, that was like such a mature decision, and I honestly can't really explain where it came from, how it came about, but really just the Holy Spirit kind of prompting me to be like, you need to do this. And when he said you need to do this, I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And so I went to my parents and I was like, hey guys, like that was back when purity rings were like a big thing, you know, like the purity ring era. Remember that? Actually, hold on. I'm gonna literally get my purity ring so I can show you guys. Okay, so this is literally my purity ring, guys. Excuse my nails. Look at my little, it actually has like a little crack in it, and I haven't been wearing it. But anyway, so I asked for a purity ring. This is actually not the OG purity ring. I had one that was beautiful. It was like a heart. But my crazy self in college, I took it off to put on lotion when I was actually at a restaurant, ironically, with my dad. Forgot it on the table, called back 15 minutes later, it was gone. So I got a new one, which is sweet. But anyways, okay, that's a side tangent. So got my purity ring. My parents were really excited. I remember taking pictures with them with my purity ring, and I was like, yeah, rah, rah, celibacy. And I'm sure my parents were super pumped about it, right? And then that was interesting going into high school choosing celibacy, because I think I got to the point where I started to want to date guys, and guys were liking me and I was liking them, and I was like, okay, cool. But my issue was I had to be honest with them and tell them that I was practicing celibacy, because I didn't want anything to happen that was not what I wanted to happen, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I didn't want them to try it with me on having sex when that's not where I was trying to go. So I made it up in my mind, okay, when I started dating, literally on the first day, I would go to a guy and be like, hey, Jasmine, tell them about my life. Oh, and by the way, I'm practicing celibacy, and like totally fine if you're not about that life. We can still be friends. But if you are about that life, I would love for us to pursue celibacy together. And that was my spiel. And again, looking back, I was like, chick was bold. Okay, younger Jasmine, come on. Let him know. What a way to put up boundaries. But I feel like that saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of trouble from going into these situations being like, oh wait, I'm not in, you know what I'm saying? Being caught up in this like awkward limbo of like guys trying it, but not knowing if I wanted to try it. I just thought it would be better to let them know up front. So anyways, went through high school. That was hard because I had a lot of guys tell me, Jasmine, I love who you are. I love your spirit. I think you would make an amazing wife someday. But right now, AKA because I'm practicing celibacy, like me, I was practicing celibacy, they could not see me being their girlfriend right then in the moment, which was hard, right? Because I feel like as a high school girl, you want to have a boyfriend and you want to be liked and you want to be loved, and to make such a bold move to say, no, I'm gonna stand out from what the world is doing and what the world deems as okay, was really, really hard. And so I had like a lot of those things where like I liked guys, they're like, oh, you can make a great wife someday, but not be my girlfriend right now. And so that did something to my self-esteem, but I stuck with it. I was like, okay. We're gonna stick with it. Fast forward, I met Reggie, you know, and now we're married, which is great. But I think in the process of me being on my celibacy journey, I feel like now the Lord is teaching me so much about celibacy and purity that I didn't necessarily understand or know back then. So I wanted to share with you guys just a quick like 3 to 4 tips that really kind of changed my perspective on celibacy and purity and the things that I learned after being a virgin for 25 years. Okay, point number 1. Your identity is not in your virginity, but it's in purity. And this was a really big one that I caught on to, honestly, get ready to have your mind blown, within the last year or 2. I feel like the Lord has really been sitting with me, helping me wrestle with him on this idea of virginity and celibacy, because I think for a long time I wore virginity as my identity. Jasmine the virgin, like Jane the virgin, you know, like Jasmine, I was the virgin girl. Hi, Jasmine, virgin. Hi, Jasmine, virgin. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't always necessarily say it out loud, but in my mind, I would speak that over myself, which to a certain extent is fine. And it was great that I was practicing celibacy, but was my heart motive in the right place all the time? Probably not. I mentioned to you before, like in my testimony, that I went through some past traumas that drove me to this place of wanting to be a virgin. I wanted to walk in celibacy because of a reverence for the Lord and what he was calling me to do. Yes, I feel like the Lord gave me a spirit of self-discipline, which is such a gift, because when it comes to rules or laws or things that he's calling me to do, I have enough reverence to be like, okay, Lord, I'll do it. However, the pendulum kind of swung to the unhealthy side at times, to where I was trying so hard to run from my past. Like I was looking back and I'm running and I'm running. And I'm like, I'm trying to get as far away from that or becoming like that as possible. And so out of fear, I took on virginity as my identity in order to not end up like people that I saw in my past or experience the same traumas that I experienced in my past. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing, because I think that so many times when they're good things, we don't want to admit that sometimes our heart motive can be in the wrong place. It's just like with religion. Reggie and I were just talking about that. Like a lot of people take on religion, yes, sometimes out of a reverence for the Lord, but also they take on religion out of fear, to beef themselves up, to become so good, to become so holy so that they can run from things that happened in their past, or becoming like a parent or becoming like a grandparent. Or do you get what I'm saying? Hopefully this is all making sense. But I think in the past 3 to 4 years, the Lord has really taught me that my identity needs to be in purity, walking in purity, in thought, in my heart, in the way that I live my life, in the way that I treat others. Purity is something that is God-given. Like being a virgin and all the things, like, and that label and things like that can be tossed around, and it's man-made and it's artificial, and it's something that we can take on just by doing good works. But purity is a characteristic, a lifestyle, something that is God-given, that we're called to be and live out in all areas of life. Purity in what we listen to, purity in what we watch. Purity should be the lifestyle. That's the goal. Being a virgin is great, but you can be a virgin and not be walking in purity. Hello, that's another video for another day. Okay. Moving on to point number 2. Boundaries are a protection and not a hindrance. I love this one because I think I really had to understand that, especially in high school, when celibacy, I feel like as you get older, celibacy is like not as cool, okay? Like people are wanting to do the things, okay? And having boundaries up to not do those things can be hard. And I feel like a lot of people looked at me and they're like, oh, Jasmine the virgin, the good girl, the rigid one, the one who can't have fun. Like even in college, like I would say, oh, I want to go to this event. And people would be like, oh, what? You want to go out and have fun? And I feel like those words spoken over me were really hurtful, because I would pray and be like, Lord, you called me to these boundaries. You've called me to live within the confines of your will by practicing celibacy. But my friends and these people out here are looking at me like I can't have fun because I have boundaries. And honestly, that is what the world and the culture will tell you. So like, be prepared. If you choose to walk in celibacy and to walk in purity, it's gonna really confuse people, and it's gonna make you seem rigid. But let me just tell you, I tell everybody this, like at parties or whatever, like I can have more fun not drinking and doing my thing and dancing and doing whatever than most drunk people can. Okay, I have enough fun in me for like 12 drunk people. And that's the thing about it. Like I feel like boundaries bring about a certain atmosphere and attitude of freedom to be like, man, I have so much protection, but I also have so much freedom within the confines of God's will to do the things that he's called me to do, to not be afraid that I'm gonna catch an STD, to not be afraid that I'm randomly gonna get pregnant when I wasn't planning on getting pregnant. All of those things are our protection, are our safe space. Like God's boundaries are our safe space. And so I just want to encourage you to understand that even if it's been spoken over you, as you're walking through this life of celibacy, that you're rigid and you can't have fun and whatever, like, no, let's deconstruct that and rewire our brains to understand that we can still have fun, we can still be authentically ourselves, we can still be in the world but not of the world, and do things that we love to do, like go out, have fun, whatever, but we can still have those boundaries of purity, of celibacy, in order to obtain God's best. Okay, y'all, we're at 14 minutes. We gotta go. Okay. Why am I stressed? I don't know. Point number 3, sex is a gift and not something to be afraid of. This one hits different. Now, more than ever, as I've gone through therapy and recovering from a lot of past traumas, man, just understand that sex is such a gift, especially now that, you know, I'm having it, I'm married, okay? It's awesome. Like, I love it, and I feel like it connects Reggie and I in such a special way. But for a long time, I was really afraid of it, and I didn't admit it then, but I can admit it now that I was running from it. Like, that's how fearful I was. Because I think, especially when you have experienced things that have morphed your view of sex, you just like want to run as far away from it. You don't even want to interact with it. You're like, this is like, it's like holding like, I don't know. This is the only thing I can think of. It's like holding like a species or a frog or something that you've never seen before. You're like, I don't know what this is here, you know? But it's so important that we understand that it's a gift from God and really study it in the Bible and understand that sex is a way of worship to the Lord, believe it or not. Read about it. Song of Solomon. You will understand what I'm talking about. But I feel like in so many different ways, whether it's through church, whether it's through past traumas, I know in church, I heard so much like, don't have sex before you're married, you're going to hell if you do. I don't really know what pastor sounded like that, but I think of an old Southern Baptist pastor, like instilling that in my brain, scaring the living daylights out of me, like, don't do it, you're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like we as the church have to do so much of a better job of like, hey, actually explaining what sex is and backing it up with biblical context and helping people to understand that it's a beautiful thing that glorifies God within the confines of marriage. And then championing those who have gone through sexual trauma to help them to unlearn the negative side of sex and relearn what sex is all about. I'm just really passionate about that. And that's why I'm so passionate about making sure that I put my story out there, sharing it with you guys, and just being obedient. Is it gonna be for everyone? Is this topic gonna make sense to everyone? No. But this is my story, and I pray, I like really pray that someone who is practicing celibacy, and let me just say this, I just feel like the Holy Spirit wants me to say this, like, celibacy, it's not like a category only for those who have been virgins all their life. No. Celibacy is even for those who are choosing to recommit and say, hey, yeah, like I've had sex in the past, but I have had an encounter with Jesus and am deciding to follow his will, follow his ways. And so I'm choosing to be celibate. Yeah, girl, like this is for you too. And I hope that this encourages anyone on the spectrum to walk in purity, take that on as your identity, and choose a life of celibacy until you find your man's or your woman's, and that we just continue to do life together as the people of God who are just trying to sharpen each other, who are just trying to make each other better, right? Hopefully that's what we're all doing over here. But I'm just really grateful that I got to share my story with you guys. Thank you for making a safe space for me to be able to do that. Comment down below letting me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. I have more videos coming in this series, but let me know if there's certain topics that you want me to touch on so that we can just open it up. And also, I have a Q&A coming soon. So if you have any questions about celibacy or purity, make sure you put those down below. But I'm just really grateful for you guys. Thank you for sharing the space for me. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Thank you for being part of my community. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. And I really want to do a giveaway for you guys. So make sure you tell your friends to come on over and we can chat it up. But anyways, I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.